Have you ever thought about starting a project or endeavor but delayed because you were worried about what people would think? You thought about how the dreaded internet trolls would come out in droves, or even worse, you'd be judged by the people that you know in real life. Or maybe you're delaying because your work isn't perfect. It's not good enough to be able to show to the world yet, so you have all the plans to start, but you have yet to put anything out there. I get it, I was there not too long ago. I delayed starting a YouTube channel for years because of those reasons. In this video, let's talk about the main thing that helped me get over this hump so that you can apply it to your life as well. Hey there friends, I'm Matt, a joyful human who's working to live life on purpose. On this channel, we discuss how to live more purposefully, more mindfully, and more effectively. Today, we're going over the power of obscurity and why you should embrace it as an asset as opposed to a liability. It's hard to put ourselves out there. Since our work isn't perfect, we are certain that people will find every flaw in what we make. They'll judge us from behind their keyboards. They'll judge our new creations with criticism and scorn. But I think that the reality is much more mundane. If people don't like the work that we create, instead of criticizing, they're much more likely to ignore it. In his book, Nobody Wants to Read Your Shit, Steven Pressfield offers us this quote: "It's not that people are mean or cruel, they're just busy." Think about your own experience reading an article or watching a YouTube video that you don't enjoy. What are you most likely to do? Close the tab and go on with your life? Or actively work to tear that creator down by leaving a mean comment? I would hope that you're in the former group, and I'm sending love out there to anyone in the latter. The busyness of people gives us obscurity, and obscurity gives us the freedom to be able to start creating and sharing without a true risk of receiving negative judgment from others. If no one is going to care when we're just beginning, then we no longer have to be paralyzed from starting for fear of negative feedback. The art you create is bad? People will give it a second thought. The podcast that you create is excruciating? People will turn it off and find something better to do with their time. People will either like what we do or they'll ignore it. Those are the two most likely options. Okay, so obscurity helped me to start. It helped me realize that there was so little risk of starting because so few people were going to actually care. But then I came to another hurdle. When I really thought about it, I wanted people to care. When we start many of our projects, we want people to pay attention. We want readers and listeners for our blogs and podcasts. We want subscribers and followers for our YouTube channels and social media accounts. And in this age of going viral and world of instant gratification, it can be easy to want that recognition to come early. We want to be noticed immediately, to have people pay attention to the work that took us hours, days, weeks to be able to complete. After all, we're putting in the time. Shouldn't the reward be the attention of others? But for better or for worse, that's not how the world works. The real world is not like a classroom that has teachers that are ready and waiting to read our writing or to be able to grade our projects. To quote Steven Pressfield again, in the real world, nobody is waiting to read what you have written. Feel free to change the verb read to the proper word depending on the work that you're creating. Time and attention are the most precious resources that each of us have, so we're pretty selective about where we place ours. Therefore, in order for the audience to give us time and attention, we need to give them something of value. Value can be inspiration or education, it can be pure entertainment. We need to give people something that they want in exchange for the time that they're giving us by consuming our work. When starting out, the work that the vast majority of us create and put out there simply isn't valuable to others. In many cases, it's objectively bad. I say this not as an indictment of others. I'm talking first and foremost about my own work here. I started a blog that I'm pretty sure no one read. I started a podcast with very few listeners outside of my friends and family, and I'm convinced that they were just listening because they were kind. Both times, the work that I created was more about planting my ego on the earth as opposed to giving value. It's no wonder that neither one of them took off. So since most of our beginning work isn't very good, very few people are going to pay attention. And I now find this idea so empowering. As Austin Kleon says in his book, Steal Like an Artist, in the beginning, obscurity is good. Obscurity gives us the time to play. It gives us the time to experiment. It gives us the time to be able to grow with minimal, if any, outside pressures. When we have no audience, we're not worried about losing followers or subscribers. Our livelihood likely doesn't depend on the work that we create, because who's going to be paying us for our beginning creations? No matter what field we're working in, we get the chance to be able to find our voice, our style, and our vibe by doing and creating, which in my experience I found to be much more effective than just thinking and planning. Obscurity at the outset gives us so much freedom. After all, it's only whenever our work actually gets good that we should want people to really pay attention. So what's the punchline here? Start creating in spite of the fear of judgment of others, because if your work is bad, they're likely just going to ignore it. Embrace your obscurity if you have it for all it's worth, using the time to hone your craft and improve by doing. And finally, share what you have with the world. You never know what can end up happening. Links to the two books I mentioned can be found in the video description. Those books changed my life. Maybe they can do the same for you. If this sort of content vibes with you, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button for more so that we can continue this journey together. Either way, I'm sending you so much love today, my friends. Hope that today you have the best day ever. Bye now.